Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-White Delver Blade with the Aetherspark. This is a new card that just got printed in Aetherdrift, and it's a legendary artifact planeswalker equipment. So a lot of subtypes. As long as the Aetherspark is attached to a creature, the Aetherspark can't be attacked and has whenever equipped creature deals damage during your turn combat damage, you may put that many loyalty counters on the Aetherspark. And that is a pretty cool ability because you can use the Aetherspark in a number of ways. First, you can plus it and you get +1, attach the Aetherspark to up to 1 to target creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So assuming that you're getting this with Stoneforge, you're probably still going to have Stoneforge Mystic in play when the Aetherspark enters, and you can just equip this and make your tapped Stoneforge that just put this into play 2/3, and it'll be slightly tougher. And then the next turn, if you want, you can sacrifice the Aetherspark and you can draw 2 cards. Or if you can connect in combat, you can add some counters to it. You can -5, you can draw 2 cards, and you'll still have the Aetherspark equipped to your creature. Or if you get enough counters on it, which you might be able to do with True Name Nemesis or Murktide or some of these larger threats, then you can -10 it and you can add 10 mana of any color. What would you do with 10 mana of any color? Well, in this deck, we happen to have Crypticoat. So you could basically just play Crypticoat and bounce it several times and create a whole bunch of creatures. Or you could use this to gobble up like basically everything in your opponent's graveyard with Lion Sash and put a ton of counters on Lion Sash. So this negative ability isn't that bad, even in a true tempo deck, which is what we're playing. So let's talk about the deck. So this deck is a Stoneforge Mystic deck, but this is not one of those dirtily tons of basic lands, Jeskai type Stoneforge decks. This is a balls to the wall aggro deck that leverages Stoneforge to give it a little bit of mid-range properties. Let me describe this. So we have Delver, and we have a ton of instants and sorceries to flip Delver. We've got a total of 25 instants and sorceries, so it's like a 42% chance that Delver's going to flip on every attempt, which is very high compared even to Blue-Red Delver. And we are playing true tempo cards. We're playing Stifles. I think we're playing 2 Stifle. For some reason, Magic the Gathering isn't showing the number of cards in the deck, but there are 2 of them. And we're playing 2 Spell Pierce, and then of course we're playing the 4 Days, the 4 Wasteland, the typical tempo squeeze. And because we're in white, we get access to really good removal. We get access to 4 Plows. I'm playing 2 Prismatic Endings. Even without the 3rd color, Prismatic Ending is pretty good because it's really at its best against like elf style decks like Cradle Control, and of course against Delver. And we have main deck Graveyard Disruption in Lion Sash. This is really good equipment. It's really good when everybody's playing Reanimate and Entomb and cards like that, right? Or when the premier decks that are combo are Oops All spells. So being able to potentially go after the graveyard. This is a little bit slower, but we do have a couple Grafdigger's Cages in the sideboard to complement. Let's talk about the sideboard. So we have 2 Force of Negations just as further anti-combo cards, especially because like a lot of cards in our deck are likely to be dead against combo. So we could take out the Prismatic Endings and just replace them with Force Negations. We have 4 Consign and 2 Harbinger for the Eldrazi matchup. We are rocking the basic planes, and we're rocking 2 basic islands because blue is very important to our plan, and we don't want to get disrupted. And then we've got the 3 Hydros for Moonstompy. So it's a pretty... Oh, and I've got a couple extra Prismatic Endings in case we need them, in case we're up against Delver or something like that. I mean, this card is insane against Delver, and it's insane against any like... Elvish Reclaimer type deck, any deck that is playing like White of the Reliquary, anything like that. It's good against Nadu decks as well. So this should be a fun, exciting, action-packed, tempo-y league, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. I'm excited to see whether the Aetherspark is good enough to replace Cauldron Complete, which is a tall order, but if you think about it, Cauldron Complete is really bad when your opponents have exile-based removal or when they're playing Brazen Borrowers or other things like that. And the Aetherspark sticks around and gives you value. Even if your Stoneforge gets removed, 4 mana is not the end of the world if you need to cast this from hand. And I'm excited about the fact that we can potentially put draw a bunch of cards off of it. We can potentially generate a lot of mana. Seems like a really fun Timmy thing to do, and we're going to see if we can do it. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Ella1, who was seen on Nadu earlier today. We can see Nadu mid-range combo. So this is kind of like slower Nadu. Yeah, and it's got lots of cards that we can prismatic end. I'm excited about this. So we're on the play. This is a no-lander. Hopefully don't get too many of these. This has lands, but it doesn't do anything. Still, I think we keep it. I don't want to go lower. Our opponent is not on like a super explosive deck, so I think it's okay. So I'll put this archive back, and we can archive in the end step if we don't have to daze anything. I don't expect them to be playing Wasteland. Let's double check. No Wastelands in here. And as far as I can tell, no disruption of mana whatsoever. So we can just freely fetch, assuming they're on this deck, which we'll know soon. But our strategy is to go fast, which is why I wouldn't want to keep this. But again, this is a serviceable hand. Okay, and they've got a pretty slow start. I'm not going to daze that. If I can find a plow or a prismatic ending, I will remove it though, for sure. Let's archive here. Stifle. I think we put it in the graveyard to feed the Merc. They've already got a lot of mana, and I'm thinking that I probably will pitch the daze to the Force. This might spook them a little bit. I definitely like to... Okay, there's a Delver. I do want to shuffle away some stuff. Okay, so we got lots of stuff that can be shuffled away here. I am going to go ahead and just get a Tundra and deploy this Delver. So we have a threat on the table. Then we can start using Daze because we'll at least be moving forward a little bit. So Ella1 is a very experienced, skilled player, and I'm a little anxious about what might happen here. Okay. This may mean that we're able to daze something. They put Oof into the yard. Let's see what we can do here. High likelihood of flipping. Come on. No, I'm not going to reveal that island. That sucks. Yeah. We could bounce this out of play for tempo and just attack. I don't strongly dislike that. I think I want to keep the Marsh Flats out because we might be able to shuffle away a bad card here. I do think Brazen Borrowing this out of play is, tempo positive, and then we can cast the Brazen Borrower the subsequent turn. I'm not going to cast it this turn because I want to be able to shuffle away a dud if we dud. Let's do this now before my end step because I don't have an end step stop. All right. They may just replay it. Yep. Okay, and they're not doing anything. They're respecting my days. Come on, show me the instant or sorcery. No. I think we actually do take this. I'm not excited about this, but I think I'm just going to play out this Brazen Borrower as a beater. I am going to waste them, though. I guess I could wait till the upkeep. Wait, they could have endurance. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. I don't want to get endurance. That would be annoying. Let's see. How many endurances do they play? It doesn't look like they play any according to this list. Yeah, I think being able to shuffle a random card is less valuable than being able to hit for 3 next turn. Okay, let's read this. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If this is the second time this turn, this ability is resolved this turn, double the number of +1/+1. So this is going to become a 3/3 when they crack the fetch. And if they have another land drop, it's going to become a 5/5. I mean, we're hopefully going to be flying and just ignoring that. Can this catch up with me? I'm going to live dangerously here. Okay, wow. They can freaking do this. They can make this very big. All right. If we hit them for 6, and if we find one of our many removal spells, we'll be in a decent shape. Come on, Delver. No, man. All right. Again, not probable, but this sort of stuff does happen, unfortunately. So I am going to play it out just to have the option to flip Delver again. And I guess I'm not going to attack with Delver since it doesn't have flying. I'll just hit for 3, and we'll pass. And we'll see whether the fact that I held up, whether I held my force pays off. Okay, they can do this again. They can actually double it next turn if they want, or they can double it now. More creatures. So I think this is marginally better than Bristly Bill, which is why people are playing it. So this is going to become a 5/5 now, I believe. 6/6, yeah. Yeah, because it comes out base 2/2. All right. Now they can make it a freaking 12-12? Is that correct? Well, I guess they don't need any threat other than that. That's going to kill me very quickly. All right. I'm taking it. It's trample. Blocking would be folly. Okay. Here they're doubling the number of counters again. So we're taking 12, dropping a 5. This is a very efficient beater when you have lots of fetch lands in your deck. Brazen Borrower, number 2 would be good. Prismatic Ending would be the best draw, probably. Let's see if we can flip here. That Plow is fine. I'll take that. It does buy them a ton of time because they're gaining 12 life here, but it needs to be done. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to play this out. I don't think there is, because if I draw a Brainstorm, I'll be happy that I have it in hand. Make sure that this gets through. If they force, I'll have to force back. Veil. Main deck, what are they doing here? Talon Gates. Okay, that is the game because I can't interact with this. I don't have Stifle in my hand, but I am going to keep Stifle in my deck. Let's go to sideboard. Yeah, that was surprising. They didn't even have to cast the Nadu. Just the threat of Nadu convinced me to keep my forces in hand. Okay, so Grafdigger's Cage comes in for sure. This is a Green Steel Zenith deck. They can also fetch stuff. Let's see. They're playing 4 Zeniths, and that's it. So maybe I just bring in 1. Is there anything else that can fetch cards out of their deck? White can search only for lands. So they do have 2 Endurance in their sideboard, and I presume those are coming in. So this is precisely the kind of matchup where you want to bring in Prismatic Ending. They barely use blue, and they only have 1 forest as their... Yeah, we're bringing this in too. Okay, cards that come out. Lion Sash doesn't really accomplish much. Spell Pierce, I think, is going to be relatively weak. Daze is still good here on the play. If we can keep their mana under wraps. I think we could cut one of our islands. No, I don't want to cut the plains because I'm playing Harbinger. I think we have plenty of initial blue sources. We've got 13 now. I need 1 more. I cut this Marsh Flats. No, technically I shouldn't cut that. I should cut the plains, but then Harbinger. I mean, I can still win with Harbinger on the table, but like with all this removal, I think it is better to keep it around. I think we just go up to 1 cage, 1 Harbinger. I'm going to drop a Stoneforge Mystic since I'm going down to 2 equipment. Often when I board out an equipment, I'll board out a Stoneforge because you don't want to draw like 4 of them and you only have 2 equipments in your deck. This is good. This is a great hand. To keep this, we're going to open Archive. Then next turn we can Stoneforge Mystic and we can go get the Aetherspark. We already have blue cards, so we don't need to get the coat. Is definitely going to stay on top. So it really comes down to like how much time we get from them. Brazen Borrower does seem like it'd be good though, against that, at least against that card we saw. So this will be the first appearance of Aetherspark ever on the channel. They don't have force or anything, so this is going to resolve. They have 1 Talon Gates. That's their main. They actually don't have very much removal at all in their deck. Yeah, no real removal at all. Okay. Green Sun, they're just going to go get the land. That is okay with me. I am not going to attempt to tempo them. What I'm going to attempt to do is out-quality them. So I will most likely be pitching Force. I'm sorry. I'll most likely be pitching Brainstorm and holding the Brazen Borrower. Unless they somehow remove this, which I don't think they're capable of doing. And I definitely debated like a lot this morning. I spent like entirely too long thinking about like, okay, should I just play standard Jeskai or should I go for a more tempo-y build? This is fine. We got a plow. They're welcome to invest resources into this. Okay. The cat is getting bigger. So what I'll do is I will play it out. Oh no. Do they have... They don't have anything that gives them counterability, so I should be able to force. So I'm just going to leave that in play. All right, Prismatic Ending is fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plow this now, and then I'll just hold the ending for something later. Because I do want to get the Aetherspark on the table and pumping. All right, Aetherspark's up to 5. So the biggest risk is that they can somehow, next turn, I could just let them hit me here. And then I can end it next turn. And I can hold up swords in case of an emergency. Is that okay? Because my main concern is what if they have the other guy? Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. This can't be attacked, so it's safe for now. Okay. So now they have the possibility of Nadu, but I'll definitely force Nadu. Okay, here's Nadu. We're not going to let Nadu even resolve. I do think I keep Brazen Borrower as an interaction point here. They're attacking with everything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to plow the cub. And then I can end the nomad. We'll take 2. All right, and we're going to get a clean attack in here. And then we can draw. Wow, that's a good rip. All right, let's go ahead and attack first. So this puts 2 counters on it. This is exciting. I like this thing. I mean, is it as good as Caldera? Maybe. I like our opponent probably has ways they can interact with Caldera. I don't know. But all I know is I'm about to draw cards off of this thing, and that feels good. Let's draw our cards first. All right, we got another land. This can... how useful are these? We can get our basic planes here. So I think we do cut them off blue here. And I am going to go ahead and just exile this. Reduce their options further. Now we have Brazen Borrower up in case something catastrophic or crazy happens. And next turn we can plus an attack. And then the following turn we'll be able to draw another 2 cards. Grist. Green Sun for 2. Okay, let's think about what they could get here. I guess it doesn't really matter because probably Collector Oof. That would stop it. I mean, they may have boarded it out. They get a white. I'm going to let it happen. They can't get opposition agent. Okay. And Brazen Borrower is pretty powerful with this because you're potentially hitting for 4 here. Okay. Noble Hierarch is fine. So we're just going to Prismatic End and we'll swing in again. No real need to fetch here. I guess I could get some tempo positivity by borrowing this out of play. So I'm going to end this. I think it's fine. Yeah, and as I said earlier, we're going to get the planes in case we find our other... Okay, Ponder's not bad. I think I want to Ponder first just to see what I find. I don't think these cards are useful. Brainstorm's good. So I think the simple thing to do is to go ahead and just get rid of this and then attack. Let's go ahead and plus. So now we're hitting for 3 with our Stoneforge Mystic. Still got tons of life over there. Aetherspark is up. So next turn we can definitely draw, even if this creature gets removed somehow. 4 mana. Green Sun for 3. This could be Nadu. Yeah, I can't interact. Yep, there's Nadu. Oh no, please don't. They don't have it as their last card. Okay, thank goodness. All right. Now we're in the market for yet another removal spell. Well, I think we just go ahead and remove first. I can go ahead and just draw the cards first, just in case I draw like a force or something. Let's do that. Well, let's see. If they plow, then I can't attack through. Or if they somehow stop me. I don't think they're going to be able to stop me. They could... No, it's not going to save them. What's it called is not going to save them. Veil. I'm used to worrying about Veil because I play blue-black a lot. So they get a landfall trigger. Okay. Nadu's out of the way. Let's go ahead and attack, and then we can draw 2 cards. Okay, it's up to 9. Let's go ahead and draw some cards. Okay, these are great cards to put back. I'm going to go ahead and do this now, just in case I find something that I can cast at sorcery speed. All right, Grafdigger's Cage seems pretty good. Yeah, I'll do that. Drop the cage here. All right. And we'll just pass. If they can assemble, nomads and they're surveilling. So they do have 4 Green Sun Zeniths in their deck that got turned off by this. So it's not nothing. Unfortunately, Prismatic Ending can't hit this, but wouldn't really be efficient use if I were to do that. Okay, that was a known card. All right, it looks like they don't have a lot going on here. They could have like Talon Gates or whatever it's called. So I'm just going to... I have to upkeep fetch here to get rid of that. Grab another Tundra here. Let's draw. Wasteland. Okay. Do we want to waste them off a color? We could waste them off blue. I don't think it really matters. Okay. I'm going to attempt to kill this. If they want to exile it, that's okay. Just want to reduce the amount of material they have in case they assemble the Nadu combo. Now I'm going to come in for a hug, and then I can draw another 2 cards, which will be great. And then I can potentially deploy a Murktide. Okay, they are fetching here. They may have endurance, which is okay. It's just going to bounce off. Oh, wait, they could double block. Yeah, that is unfortunate because that means that I'm not going to be able to deploy a Murktide here. They are hitting my graveyard. So if they choose to double block, that's bad. But I still get the cards. Okay, so I am going to kill this. I can't kill the endurance. I'll just do it like that. Okay, so we do get the counters. Do we want a plus here? They're hellbent. I think what we do is we just equip this and then they can't attack that. And then I don't think they can just straight up win off the top of their deck. It's worth noting that we could, in theory, like minus and cast Murktide. Okay, they're not attacking. That's good for us. This is more fun to play than Calder. Calder's not very fun. You just put it in play and keep swinging. But this, like, there's a lot of thinking that goes into this. So if I don't rip something good, I'm just going to go ahead and minus. And I might be able to find interaction. Yeah, let's draw some cards here. I can also swing in, and they'll have to choose whether they want to take 4 damage or trade. They'll probably just take it, but if they trade, then they could potentially attack this later. Harbinger seems freaking phenomenal here. They can get it out of play if they want to. Okay, they concede. And I think what I was going to do there is probably attack anyway, just to put the counters on the Aetherspark, because I get 4 counters and that'd be close to drawing. Well, we drew like 4 or 6 cards with it. It was pretty good. It's definitely good for like a more mid-range plan. Like you want to go face, go Cryptic Coat. That's unblockable. That is, your army in a can, as they call it. So I think Harbinger is good enough that I want to play another one. I think we trim the Dazes. They don't seem good here. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and just added Lion Sash back in. I mean, there is a possibility that the game can go long, and this feels like a pretty good card for a mid-range. And I added a Stoneforge in, and then I added a second Grafdigger's Cage because, I don't know. It's 1 mana to like negate 4 cards in their deck. I think it's probably worth it. Took out all the Dazes here. Let's go. Oh, and I added the second Harbinger. All right, this is a cage hand with double Stoneforge Mystic and Force. This is a snap keep. So turn 1 is going to be a Grafdigger's Cage. Turn 2 is going to be Stoneforge. I'm planning to only force Nadu enabler type cards or Nadu itself. Like I'll force the Green Sun, but we shouldn't have to force a Green Sun unless they remove this. They mold pretty deep, but I think it's a trap to waste here because we might need that second mana to play out our Stoneforge. Let's see if we draw a land. Okay, I'm just going to waste. They're playing a lot of non-basics here. They did mill a forest. Maybe they have just tons of land. Maybe that was a total mistake. Maybe that was a misread from the forest. If this isn't Green Sun. Okay. It's fine. Let's drop this cage. And now I will pitch Brainstorm to force. I don't have any cards I need to put back. This is fine. Cradle. This thing has been a problem in the past. Is it likely to kill me? Are we likely to draw another blue card? We could Stoneforge to get the... Okay, so hear me out. I am going to force this because I don't want to die. And then I'll just go get Cryptic Coat, which can't actually do anything with Grafdigger's Cage out, unfortunately. It's a non-bow. And then I will have their next threat covered. And then the second Stoneforge will get the Aetherspark. Plowing this takes them off of 2 mana. Oh, it's risky. No, I think I'm going to go ahead and just assume that like they have 2 cards in hand. What's the worst thing it could be now that we've shut off Green Sun? Yeah, let's go get our Cryptic Coat, and then we can potentially, plow a turn or 2 from now. Cryptic Coat was amazing for Stoneforge precisely because there are lots of situations like this where you really do want a blue card for force. Okay. They don't have good attacks. All right. Land would be good. Force is fine. Let's go ahead and get our second Stoneforge here. And let's get the Aetherspark. Next turn we can start going to town. They have tons of mana, but I don't know what they would pump the mana into. If they play... Okay. Yeah, so they didn't have a very strong hand, but wasting them was probably not correct, given everything that's transpired. Okay, this is great because this means that I can plow and I can put this into play. I might even be able to get like them to multi-block. And then I can blow them out with a... Yeah, and if they endurance here, I can just plow that. It looks like we're going to add a couple counters to that. I think I just hold up plow. In an absolute emergency, I can, plow the Nomad. I'm going to attempt to force... So if they have, what is it called? White of the Reliquary. That's fine. I can just remove that. And I will remove that. They might as well attack here. They opt not to attack. I'm going to be mana efficient here, and I'm just going to plow this. They could blink it. I am very much looking forward to drawing 2 cards here. Another Stoneforge does get... let's see. How many permanents are in graveyards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could basically get a thing and make it freaking huge. And then just be attacking with a huge thing every turn. And when I say thing, let me clarify. I mean Lion's Ash. So what that would involve is plussing this again. But if we draw, we can just keep attacking. I don't know that there's anything they can do to exile this. Right, I'm going to opt to draw some cards here. Hopefully I don't draw a Lion's Ash. I probably should have played that before Lion's Ash, but I want to see what I'm going to draw before I use my mana. Okay, Harbinger is pretty phenomenal. We don't have the second white mana. Or the second blue mana. I think I just go for an attack here first. This thing is good. This is a good card. I was skeptical. I was like, really? But I can already tell that this is a pretty good card. Now, is it Cauldron good? That remains to be seen. I think to minimize downside risk, we could cut them off the cradle. It just represents so much mana. And because we need to draw a blue source anyway. We've got double force up. They've got 2 cards coming. They don't have any uncounterability currently. And we did kind of just remove the possibility of them. Let's see. No, technically they could Lana War or whatever it's called, Shepherd into Nadu. That's how they win. So I'm just calling that out. Like if I lose to that, that's like an unlikely sequence, but it is a possible sequence. And I will just, eat my humble pie if I lose that way. But I'm not going to hold up Brazen Borrower just for that possibility. I'm going to keep pushing forward. So my original plan was to play a bunch of, instead of playing Delver, I was going to play a bunch of other cards. But my thinking was like, this is enough 2-drops between these and the Murktides. And against combo, you just want to end the game somehow. And Delver both pitches to force and, wow, we just got a full freaking grip. This is awesome. We can attack and we can draw 2 again next turn if we need to desperately find the land to get Harbinger on the table. Harbinger doesn't lock them out completely. I think these are islands. Are they still 1/1 creatures with Harbinger out? I forget. I probably actually would pitch Harbinger before I'd pitch Borrower, just because Borrower is like our emergency eject button in case things get really scary. I just need them to not find Alice or Shepherd. How many are they playing? Well, if they're playing 0, then they can't find it, can they? All right. Good games. That felt great. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against a likely lands player. Dude, it's Corey. I think this hand is fine. They say, oh, hi, YouTube. Let's keep this. Yeah, I mean, this has cantrips. It doesn't have immediate action, but I think what I do is I just wait a turn on the ponder, and that way I can spell pierce. If they have if they're on lands, they can have a lot of cards that are pierceable, such as Exploration. Sylvan Safekeeper. Okay, so they are not on what I thought they were on. I think this is a Daze. I don't want to deal with this card. So what deck plays this? I think just Depths. Yeah, I'm not going to burn the brainstorm here. I'm going to try to make efficient use of my cards. Okay, Force is a good rip. I am going to go ahead and ponder now because I think like they're likely to play creatures now instead of, and we want to find a second land. Okay, so these are great. Second land is good. I don't want this. I would want that, but I don't have an island, and I don't really want to pitch this. Do I want to pitch this? Maybe I do pitch this in favor of finding something proactive. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so we just found a force, which is not the worst. I mean, we can stop a few things they try to throw at our face. Pierce is probably going to be pitched now because they're probably casting. Yeah, I don't want to deal with this card. All right. They didn't have a double spell turn, so I'm going to brainstorm here first and then hope to find something proactive. And we find nothing proactive. So Wasteland is actively terrible right now. And I think we put the Tundra back too, and we can just fetch a Plains here. And then, yeah, chill. Yeah, I'm not going to waste into that. Like, my plan is not to go after the mana. Like, I understand that they could have, you know, depths and all that stuff. We have plenty of ways of interacting with depths. I don't think we interact through Wasteland. Okay, Talon Gates. So they have kind of a meh hand. Looks like Sylvan. How bad is Sylvan for us? This is where if I hadn't put the pitched the Spell Pierce, I wouldn't have to think so hard. I think that this is a force because we don't have anything ready on deck. Yeah, and yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. But I don't want them. We don't have any pressure, so all right. Let's see if we can surveil. I think we are desperate enough to surveil here and not just get our basic planes. That is precisely what we need. All right, top the library you go, my friend. All right, I am going to play at the land, and we are going to Stoneforge. And this deck might very well be playing, what's it called? Mazevith? What's it called? It's called being 44 and like forgetting the names of all the cards. Okay, I think the right thing to get here is Aetherspark. It's the most powerful card here. Like Crypticode is definitely good, but I want to play with the new powerful card. Getting some server lag. I just don't want you to blame me if I time out. All right, now we have Plow Up if we need it. And plowing, you know, Merit Lage token is not the end of the world. Like you can fight through that with this deck. You know, Murktide, that's like 3 turns of Murktide attacks. That's fine. We're 1 mana away from casting this. Okay, they're Flagstone, Legend rolling it. They go get another land that comes into play tapped. Probably a Savannah, maybe a Basic Plains if they're worried about. Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. I'm very excited about the prospect of putting Harbinger of the Seas in my deck after this. Crop Rot. Okay, let's see what they get. So that's what they got off of that. But they're going to probably go get like a stage. Oh, Wasteland. Okay. This does keep us off Aetherspark for another turn or two. All right, let's draw. Tundra. I'm just going to play it and pass. Once we get Aetherspark out, it's pretty brittle. It doesn't really do a lot. So it's not that big of a deal. Like I might actually even brainstorm this away if I get a chance. Okay, depths. So they're down to 2 cards. The fear is that they depths and then they also have crop rotation or something like that. I'm not going to be afraid here. I'm just going to go for it. They have crop rotation. So be it. They're just going to remove a counter. Okay, that means they probably don't have crop rotation because they tapped out a crop rotation mana. So I'll just get our plains here, and I'll get another island. There's not really a good reason to get another island, is there? I mean, they do have Wasteland in their deck. And then the Spark's coming down. The All-Spark. Yeah. So we'll just plus on nothing. That is something you can do. And next turn we can draw 2 and cantrip through it if we don't have anything better to do. It's probably better than just sitting around. True Name Nemesis would be a truly insane rip. Spell Pierce does probably not anything here. I think we just plus the All-Spark and we can keep it around and then draw. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it around 1 more turn. It has to actually do combat damage, so this does prevent it. But if we find either True Name Nemesis or crop rotation. So I think I'm going to let them do this, and then I can plow. And then, here, let me make sure there's a stop in my end step so it doesn't go to their turn where they get to untap their mana. I think I'm going to let them get the thing, and then I'll plow. And then if they have a way to protect it, I can deal with it. Uh-oh. They're not doing it now. Oh, they are doing it now. Okay. This gets made, and they're about to gain 20 life. Congratulations. You have a ton of life, and I'm very, very glad that I didn't give you the Sylvan Library earlier. Wasteland. All right, and we are going to stare at each other, but I'm going to stare at each other, drawing 2 extra cards every 6 turns. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Ponder. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first. This is a shuffle. Delver is something. It's not nothing. We are tapping off of Spell Pierce here. And I'll play this out. Put them on notice. So if this flips, then we're in a pretty good position because we can plus and then we can be drawing 2 extra cards every 2 turns, basically. Sejiri step. Flip, please. Yes. All right. So we got a plow in the grip. Let's plus here. I do need to do combat damage, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this. I have Spell Pierce if they try to crop rot. They don't. Let's go ahead and hit for 4. Boom shakalaka. This is great. I love this card, man. This is one of my new favorite cards. It's just so fun to use. It's hard to get into play. It costs a lot of mana. You have to build around it, but it's a powerful build around card for sure. Like, this is definitely a shot in the arm to Stoneforge. Okay, big green sun here. Sorry, Charlie. Echoing Deeps. Okay, definitely could have played that out first. That will be consequential later if we can't find another Wasteland. But we are going to be drawing a lot of cards here. Force, not the worst. Let's go ahead and crack. Put 4 counters on the Aetherspark. So we've got 4 card draw, like, charged already. Pretty raw. Pretty unfiltered. Oh, another land. Yeah, I'm going to play it out. And we'll just plus next turn if we don't find a Wasteland. And then we can do it again. They're pretty dead in the water. I'm trying to think of what sequence would work here, considering that I've got so many bases covered. I have used the Surveil land, so I will just untap and draw naturally. Let's draw some cards. I think I just plus. I want to keep this thing around. This does make it a 5/5. So from now on, we're going to be able to draw every time it connects. I will not test them. Fine. They're going to start manually removing these. I think I'm going to outrace them the second I find a Wasteland. And this, by the way, this is why you put Wasteland in your control decks. I know, like, I'm always piping up about that, and people are like, really? Yeah, like, if we were playing the Jeskai version with, like, 9 basic lands and all that stuff, we would not... well, I'll just leave it, whatever. I don't want to lose time, do 2 minor things like that. Okay. Wasteland, please. All right. So I do think we go ahead and just draw first, just in case we find the Wasteland. All right, we found it. And they made scoop here. It's pretty inevitable. Yeah, good game. Wow. Allspark. So if that was Caldera, that would have hit him a couple times, but it wouldn't have been nearly as impressive. So the trick is they're not playing lands, so they don't necessarily have Loam in their deck, so you don't want to bring in Force Negation. You do want to bring in Grafdigger's Cage for the same reason in the previous round, and I think I bring in 2 of them just because it's so good against them. Prismatic Ending is quite good against their small creatures. As with the previous round, Daze comes out for sure. I can't wait to get True Name out, and we would have been able to also get Coat going, which is also quite good. I think Spell Pierce comes out. I think Stifle could stay in. We were able to, did we show them a Spell Pierce? I can't remember. But I think any soft remission is just mediocre here. Stifle can do tricks like, it can do a lot. Yeah, let's run this. Okay, so I hope I was recording there. But basically I did my sideboarding and I just boarded out the Dazes and boarded out the Spell Pierces and boarded in Prismatic Endings and, your Harbinger hand. Yeah, this doesn't have protection from them just going crazy at the beginning, but this seems totally keepable. This is one of those situations where we could even go double island if we wanted to. We did put double island in the deck for that possibility, but we are going to want to get a Plains before we stick the Harbinger. So if this is Reclaimer, that's fine. So it's worth noting there's still R4 in their deck. That's one of the reasons that it's worth bringing in Grafdigger's Cage, because there's always kind of 4 in their deck. And this is just like, in my mind, it's just Island, Grafdigger's Cage. They could have Beseju, but that will get us a land. So it's still like a kind of a 2-for-1. And this could be 1 for 0, you know, if they don't draw anymore, but they could have multiple. There's like a 15% chance or something that like after 8 cards, you have 2 copies of the same card. Exploration is fine. Are they playing more Landsy? Okay, this copies nothing. In a graveyard. Okay, so they're copying our Misty Rainforest. That's fine. That can go get a forest now. So it makes our Harbinger a little less effective. But I love when my opponents play cards like Exploration. I think Exploration sucks. The reason is because you're going minus on cards. I'm going to go ahead and fire this off. I want to reconfigure my hand. I don't think Murktide is particularly helpful here. Prismatic Ending, I don't even think this is worth killing. But I do think Prismatic Ending is worth holding on to. I'm going to put back the Murktides. I think they're a ways away. I think I'm going to go ahead and just immediately ponder for momentum. Looking for a fetch that can get my planes. I don't want to go into Harbinger territory without the planes. I mean, these cards are okay. I'm going to shuffle. Delver's not where, like, we're a control deck now. Okay, Force is great. So we can still be killed, but it's unlikely because we have Borrower and we have Force. This is a card that we have to stop, in my humble opinion. This just totally solos me. I got soloed by it the other day. If we pitch the Borrower, then we don't have an answer to Maze. Yeah, I'm going to hold out hope for the Harbinger. They have a lot of tech lands in their deck. Okay. I just want them to tap this before I stick the Harbinger. All right. I'm going to play this out. Prismatic Ending can never kill a choke, unfortunately. Let's see. Would they remove this? Because I can win with this on the table. I can just attack every turn. And I can even bring this in. I think I am going to play it. They could remove this and get a giant, what's it called, Merit Lage token. Because they're fetching their forest here. Oh, they're fetching white. They're going to... Okay, why didn't they fetch a forest? Am I missing something? Why wouldn't you fetch a forest? Do you not play a basic forest? They had a basic forest. No, wait, that was the previous opponent that was on Green Sun Zenith. I am stunned and puzzled as to why they didn't just grab the forest there. I think we play it out. We're not going to be shuffling stuff away with this out. We're just going to clock them. We're winning the race. I'm going to be fearless. If they remove this, it's not that big a deal. I've got lots of interaction. I don't think they're going to be able to sneak a Merit Lage under, like, without removing this. Yeah, they just scoop. Wow, 2-0. We're doing great. Let's keep going. I'm hoping to face some combo because that's what I really wanted to face. Like, we're just getting lucky facing these mid-rangey decks. Like, those are unfavorable matchups. Round 3, we're up against Bad Boros, who is true to their name and does generally play Boros decks, like Painter. Oh, this is a nice hand. Look at that. Yeah, well, we can even play on basics if we need to. They mold to 6. I'm keeping this. Their Moon Stompy, that's kind of rough if they open Blood Moon, because like a normal Stoneforge Mystic deck wouldn't care about Blood Moon because they'd just be like, haha, I've got tons of basics. Okay, they're not. Is this a Plains? This is a Tundra. Guide of Souls. Okay, well, this is a Prismatic Ending. They could definitely have days here. The Delver plan is on pause while we deal with this thing. Usually these decks do play Wasteland. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end, hope they don't daze, and then I'll have other stuff to do, but I don't want to get behind to turn on tempo. So I am going to open Plains here. All right, that worked. So there's like this card, Nakatl Pride or something, Ocelot Pride. That is what I'm kind of worried about. I think playing Delver is less strong than just going ahead and getting the Allspark. And I will continue to call it the Allspark because it looks just like the Allspark from Transformers the movie from the 80s, the animated one. Freaking awesome movie. Like half the Transformers die in it. It was like, as a kid, when I saw that, I was just like, oh, I couldn't believe, like, my favorite character just bit it like 20 minutes into the episode. It wasn't even a big deal. The show just keeps going. Yeah, I mean, there's strong incentive to just play on basics here. I'm going to do so. And one of the great things about Stoneforge Mystic is it is a 2-for-1 if they don't deal with it on the stack. They are dealing with it on the stack, and I am totally chill with that because I've got another one in the wings, ready to pounce, just like a Lynx. or Ocelot. One of those cats. Ah, there's the Nakatl Pariah. Well, we're going to just plow that and leave the token in play, unless they have like some immediate way to sack it. Lion Sash. So I'm kind of tempted to just put it back, but like I don't want this flipping. Yeah, they may have ways of sacking. Oh, I know what they have to kill. Like they have freaking the one that broadside bombardiers. I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out in case they daze. If they had a daze, they probably would have used it last turn. White, blue. It's Allspark time. I cannot wait to get this in play. Immediately outclass their 2-1 with my 2-3 and start juicing up this thing to rip a ton of cards. If they run out of cards themselves, they pitch to force a Ponder. Okay, so we do have to be mindful of the fact that they do have a lot of reach in their deck. Like, they can just put a gazillion tokens into play. And I believe that's the first time I've ever uttered the word gazillion. It's not a real number, by the way. Not like noctillion. When I saw the Aetherspark, I thought, oh, Amp Raptor, first strike. You get 2 energy, then cast until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card. Hopefully the card is like Force of Will or something. Yeah, I mean, this card seems very spotty when you're playing lots of instants and stuff in your deck. They reveal Guide to Souls, the best possible. Okay, and now, oh, they only have 1 energy. But it is scary time here. Let's see. Whenever you attack, you may pay. Okay, so that doesn't matter. They don't have the ability. So we're just going to let this happen. But like they can block my creature with the Allspark on it. I really want to find a Prismatic Ending or a Plow here. So Ponder could go get that. I think this Lion Sash is not going to be relevant at all. I'm tempted to just, I think I'm going to brainstorm this away. And we're going to see if we can find a fetch. We don't find a fetch. We find a bunch of meh stuff. I'm going to put the Lion Sash down here. We're going to ponder it away next turn. I'll hang on to the permission. I am going to Aetherspark and I am going to attack. I think it'd be a mistake to be passive here. We are going to take some damage here, but we are going to have this thing online. They can't attack it. I like that mechanic that it can immediately attach to the Stoneforge, so it's unattackable. They're going to deal some damage to us. They're going to, maybe tempo us out. I will force creatures. This is a force. Delver goes under the bus here. They don't get any energy, so they're just attacking for 5, which is still a lot of life. They're probably reading the Aetherspark thinking, okay, now I have to actually read it. Yeah, it has a lot of text on it. It's a very unique card. To my knowledge, there's never been like an equipment that's also, or like a Planeswalker that's also an equipment. It reminds me of One Piece, the gun that ate the dog fruit, and so it's like a dog gun. How does a gun eat a fruit? I have no idea, but that's what happens in the show. I'm not spoiling anything, by the way. It's just like one of the many enemies that the pirates face. But like you can imagine this Allspark, like it's such a powerful equipment that it rises to like become a Planeswalker. And I'm not sure exactly what that entails. I'm not like super up on the lore of Magic the Gathering, as you could probably guess. I just play the game. I don't read the books. I think Bosch and Roll, like he actually has like all the books and stuff, which I respect. I think it's super chill. So I think I don't want to like pitch the Allspark just to draw 2 cards. I think that'd be a mistake. Oh wait, I don't have to do that because I can attack. I do want to ponder well, maybe we attack first just to ensure that we get through. I'm trying to think if is there a better creature that we could equip this to. Let's go ahead and ponder. Okay, more of the same. I'm gonna shuffle this because I don't want to spend a mana on ponder. Borrower is pretty good. We can bounce this out of play completely. I like that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack. I'm going to bounce this out of... Well, I'll attack and I'll draw 2 cards. I don't think we want to plus this. It does accelerate our rate of development, but no, I'm going to get the cards. And of course we have days if they have any shenanigans here. 2 counters onto the Allspark. Let's draw a couple cards, shall we? A couple Prismatic Endings. Okay, we'll take that. This Stifle may be consequential. I'm going to keep... I want to keep the blue up just in case. I'm not going to pretend that I have something else to do. Just get that out of here right now. I guess I could have waited till next turn. I could play the Delver. Wait a second. What did we put on top? What did we put on top? My goodness. If we put stuff on top that flips Delver, that is better than having... I honestly can't remember. I'm just going to play it out, and I'm going to hope that it flips, because if it flips, it's so good for us. I think it's better than holding up Stifle at this point. I think Stifle, if they get a high level of energy... Okay, this is bad. So, if you gain life... Okay, none of these creatures have lifelink, though, right? Except for this. So they have to attack with this first. Okay, Mockingbird is something I am very interested in stopping. I have a lot of respect for this card. I love this card. And now they're empty. Because they could have freaking mocked their Ocelot Pride and gotten like a bunch of stuff. That would be scary. It doesn't look like they should attack. Yeah, they should just attack. So they should assume that I'm a competent player and that I actually remember what's on top of my deck, even though I don't. And that I'm going to be juicing the heck out of this Allspark next turn. I could definitely lose here, just to the beats. I need to get Ocelot Pride out of the way. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to attack here. Next turn, I can drop the Brazen Bar, but that doesn't actually do anything. But it does deter, like, if they make a creature like a flying creature, I can potentially block it. All right, so we're taking 3 here. How does this work? Does this give it lifelink too? +1 flying counter. Okay, it's just flying. It doesn't give it lifelink. So neither of these are lifelink. So we're... do we want to just trade here? I actually think it's safest to trade. Did I pass priority already? I think I did. Oh wait, it's first strike, so I can't trade. So we're going lower. So they didn't gain life, so that doesn't... Wait, did they gain life? How did they gain life? Is one of these lifelink? Okay, I'm not sure exactly how they gain life. Maybe when this enters play... Okay, it's a combo. It's a built-in combo. Okay, does it flip? Wasteland. No, it does not flip, because I am not very good at this game. Okay, so I think what we have to do is we have to plus, and then we have to probably throw Delver under the bus. I think there's a ponder on top. No, we shuffled. I'm not actually sure what's on top. I'm going to take out their white source, because they have to pay. They just have to pay energy here. Yeah, and now we can put this over here, and then we have double blockers. I think that's what we need to do here. And then, yeah, if that flips next turn, and then I can play this out and potentially block up top. What I probably should have done is actually put this in play and then equip it to that. Yeah, that wasn't the best play. But this can block the Amped Raptor. If they try to use the Guided Souls ability, maybe it's better to just stifle the ability. I'm going to let this resolve. And we'll see. They get some energy. Do they flip anything? Force of Will. Okay, this is what I was hoping for. So let's see. How does that work? You may cast that. Okay, so they don't get to cast it because it's revealed in Ocelot Pride. Okay, so now they're going to do the thing. So first strike, lifelink. So it's flying now. I can just block. I am going to block. Wait, it's first strike? Okay, I'm not going to block. Yeah, I should have stifled the ability. I'll just wait and I'll do this instep. Yeah, we're dropping lower and we're pretty much dead on board. Like, I don't think I'm playing this game particularly well. This deck has always been extremely confusing to me. So they get 1 and then they get another energy. So next turn, I think we're just going to get hit so hard by so many things. Yeah, like, again, if I had like equipped with the Allspark, we would have lost something there. So this is flip. Murktide Regent. I'm not going to reveal it. I'm going to draw. So at this point, we can attack and put some counters on it, and we can potentially draw. I don't think that's strong enough. I think they've got our number. I'm just going to concede to save time because they've got tons of life. We're not even close to going off with the Allspark, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know if that was a premature concession, but I am down like 2 minutes, 3 minutes on my opponent. Hydroblast comes in for sure. And Prismatic Ending comes in. And we'll take out the forces. I think force is bad against tempo decks like this. Lion Sash doesn't really do anything. I think, again, it's unfortunate. Like, I mean, we could cut a Stoneforge Mystic as well. Since I didn't see any basic lands. Maybe we bring in a Harbinger. Spell Pierce seems pretty bad, actually. I think I'm going to take these out and... yeah, maybe 2 forces are warranted here. We certainly have the blue cards to support them. All right. Yeah, this is a really cool deck. I want to play it on the channel, but the freaking cards are expensive. Like the Lynx guy, Ocelot. It's a very, very expensive card. I mean, this answers their first few threats. Doesn't do anything proactive. We're on the play. I am a tempo deck. I'm going to mulligan this. I still think we're probably control here. Yeah, I mean, this is basically the same hand as the previous one, but it has land. I'll do this instead. All right, so I'm going to just play this, and now we have the ability to plow instep or go get a land and daze something, but I'd rather not daze since that's my blue card for force. Okay. I'm not going to surveil at this point. Okay, more interaction. That's fine. At this point, I think I probably can instep surveil, but I just want to see what they do first. I think Guided Souls is the critical card that we just have to ensure doesn't do anything. That Amped Raptor is pretty scary too. That's fine. I'm just going to plow it. Because instep, let's see, what does this do? Instep, if you gain life, they haven't gained life. I think I'm just going to chill and I'll just end it. Since that's like a 1-drop. Okay. That doesn't trigger. Yeah, so I know I'm a little bit slow on the uptake, but I'm pretty sure the reason why was Guided Souls was giving them a life when this entered, and that's what triggered. Oh, that's great. Now this is actually really good. Because we've got mana, so I'm just going to end this. Bye-bye, Mythic Rare that costs $50 that denies me the ability to play the deck you're playing. The Ajani is not cheap either. Okay, they've got lots of land too. I'm a bit spooked that they might have Pyroblast for my Cryptic Coat. That is fine. That doesn't do anything on its own. All right, and this is precisely what you hope for, is for people to play cards that don't do anything on their own. Let's go ahead and get our basic island here. Cannot be wasted off any of our colors, and let's get cooking on the unblockable creatures that are going to provide some beatdown. Please don't daze this. Spell Pierce it, Pyro it. I'm going to let that happen. They've already brainstormed, or they've already shuffled. I'd love to daze this. To daze a force. I will, settle for dazing a daze. All right, we're in. With the Ponder underneath. Feeling pretty favored. It's very hard for them to kill the creatures, but they can kill the coat with Pyro. And I'm going to assume that they don't have an immediate way to flip, and I'm just going to let this happen. Oh, wait, they do have a way to flip. I didn't think about that. I have to stop this. I said earlier I was going to stop it, and I was serious. Don't 2-for-1 me. Okay, just use this, and then I can kill your Planeswalker. How about that? See, how big is the backside? I think it's comes in with like a 3, but then they can immediately use the ability. Okay, Goblin Bombardment. I'll take 1. Yeah, it just didn't register to me that they had that ability, so they can +2 it. Oh, they're doing that? Okay, that's fine, but that means that I'm going to be able to kill you, right? To any target. Okay, so I'm going to kill your Ajani, and then I can just bounce this back to hand later. Bye, Ajani. I'm not like misreading this or anything. Okay, I'll just chill. I'm not worried about them throwing things at me. I think we let this through. There will be a situation later where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have let that through. So it loses Ward 2 and it just becomes a vanilla 2/2, I believe. But that's fine because we're going to put another creature on the battlefield here. We can just cleanly remove it, but they can sack. I think this doesn't have any abilities. I think I do hold this back. We're not the beatdown right now. And what we're going to do, please don't blast this. I had the blast. All right. Do we want to beat? I think we just chill and use this as a blocker. I want to try to, like, if I draw the Allspark, I'll be happy that I have a creature on the table. All right, and they are paying the ward. Yeah, that's fine. That's a great deal. They're down to 1 card. So I think I am going to plow this because I want to just play my borrower out. They don't seem to have any gas. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take 1 and you don't get the life. Because any creature can kill my Brazen Borrower now that this Goblin Bombardment's out. And now I have the ability to stifle as well. I'm just going to chill, and I'll do it all in the instep for maximum flexibility. All right. Well, that is a relief. I'm just going to plow first. They'll throw it at me, and then I can deploy my borrower. And I have to hope that, like, They don't have anything else coming. Merc is pretty insane. It's going to be quite large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't use our graveyard for anything other than casting Murktide. Let's get the Rush. Rush. If you ever played San Francisco Rush. And of course there's the amazing band Rush too. And there's the 90s movie about drug addiction called Rush. But I still think San Francisco Rush is the most exciting of those things. All right. So it's going to resolve. I think this is a Stifle. I just don't want them to get the energy for later. And this also stops the flip. I mean, it could be nothing, but yeah, they're just throwing it immediately. That's fine. They're going to get beaten down here. Unless they have a blast off the top. Force is okay. I would really like to draw the Allspark because I could just juice the heck out of it with Murktide. That was one of the things I was hoping to do when I put this deck the way I did is just Allspark people. Oh yes, so good. So good for us. I know it sucks to be my opponent and be flooded. That is pretty good too. Yeah, I'm just going to attack and they'll be at 1. They can't fetch. They can't force. That's fine. That keeps us off the Allspark this game. Again, I hope you don't find it annoying that I'm calling it the Allspark, but it's a little easier to say than the Aetherspark. Aether is a pretty awkward word to say, even though it's very cool sounding. It's a throwback to when scientists believed there was some sort of fluid in space that was holding everything, and everything was floating in this kind of gelatin. But nope, it's just interstellar hydrogen all the way out. All right, so on the draw, I think Daze is a lot less good. They've got a lot of lands in their deck. I think maybe we do bring in the... I still didn't see very many basics. I'm kind of tempted to bring in the Harbinger and then maybe a Force. I mean, we are very creature light is the thing. And Lion's Sash does give us, a path to like standing up against an opponent. I think we do bring these back in. I don't want to play so passively. I mean, Harbinger of the Seas seems just atrocious against them because they do play blue, but like they also have just... Maybe keep 1 days in. Oh, we're keeping 2 days in. The reason it seems atrocious is they have lots of answers for it. And also it's just like, if you put it out and they've already got they've already dumped their hand, what did you accomplish? I think we need Force just to stop their nut draws. All right. So we're back up to full Stoneforge potential here. This is the sad mulligan. When you play 19 lands, you have to do this sometimes. This is perfectly fine. I think I'm going to put back the Wasteland and we're just not going to try to tempo them at all. Actually, we could put back the Lion's Sash. I think that's probably safer. We'll get the Allspark. All right, they kept 6. All right, they've got a turn 1 play. If they get a Daze casting land, I can't really do anything about this. I think I just have to chill and eat my medicine. Like I think forcing and getting blown out with a Daze would be pretty catastrophic. I'm going to make them have it. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah. So here's where we could tempt fate and just waste them. They are a low land count deck. They did mulligan. They did fetch a non-basic. They may not even be playing basics. I'm going to go for it and see if we can cheese. That is tempo negative. They did just cast a spell, and they are going to be able to cast another spell if they have a land. They do have a land. Okay, it looks like they... Oh, never mind. They're using it. They just passed to give me false hope. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. That is not an Ocelot Pride or a Guide of Souls. Modern Horizons 3, just with the freaking 1-drops. My goodness. Not that Modern Horizons 2 didn't have some bangers. Of course, like Be Excellent YouTube channel, All-Star, Dragon Rage Chandler. All right, so now I can definitely do Surveil here. I should have used the Misty for that, but the Plains is already in my hand. It doesn't matter. Don't play Ajani. They shuffled their Ponder. Maybe they're stuck on one land and they have a bunch of 2-drops in their hand. No, they have a Wasteland. Yep, Ajani's out. So I still think we Surveil here and then we play... Yeah, because I want to get deeper into the deck and I'm happy to have them burn lands to try to disrupt me. Because I've got so many lands in my deck, or in my hand. This goes in the graveyard. We're looking for Plow. Plow would not be bad at all. I would definitely be okay with having a 2-drop on the table. Or a Prismatic Ending. Come on, 7 of them. See if you can give me one deck. I mean, I'll still cast Stoneforge and just be cool with life. but I'd really rather have Ajani off the table. I'm going to be sitting on the couch at Games Done Quick, and there's going to be some very loudmouth kid sitting next to me who keeps trying to opine on my game. What game was that? Like Tobin or something like that? I can't remember. Some random PlayStation game. And the guy is just like, I would really rather you be quiet. And the kid was just like totally mortified. Oh, one of the all-time greatest Games Done Quick sequences. Okay, I'll stop talking. We've got 9 minutes. We need to make decisions here. So I think the AeTherspark is the decision. I don't want them to draw a second Wasteland and keep me off AeThersparking next turn. I think we've probably lost this game. I think it's likely that this flips if they don't just daze here. Well, yeah, we had a good run, but we met like a tempo deck that played more brutally than us. And we're not a brutal deck. We're a pretty gentle deck. Yeah. Oh man, they don't have lifelink yet. They're not going to get a token this turn, but they will next turn. And this is a cat. It has to die, so my plows are effective. If my deck wants to give me a plow, oh no, deck. All right, well, I am going to go get an island here. Maybe actually I need to get a Tundra just to maximize the likelihood of being able to spam Lion's Sash activations to buff. And maybe I can block, but there's going to be a lot of freaking cats on the table. That's for sure. And I believe this, like the more cats there are, the stronger it gets. Like every cat gets +1/+1 or something like that is one of the things. Yeah, let's do +2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each cat you control. And look, they've already got 3 cats on the table. They didn't attack. That was a huge misplay. They must click through their attack step. I will take it. Thank you for this gift. Okay, so this card doesn't really do anything. I think we just chill and we get ready to spam activations. And this is precisely why I'm playing a ton of Tundras. We are definitely going to hang back. I do not know why on earth they wouldn't have attacked there. Please cast a red drop that I can... I'm going to just make this bigger every single turn and hope that they don't have a prismatic ending. They have the plow. I think, sadly, I've got nothing else going on. I'm just going to gain a bunch of life here. I'll take the 4 life. Hit their Wasteland. Hit their Flooded Strand. I don't think they have a way to recur anything from their graveyard, but I'll get their Onslaught Pride. I will gain 4 life, and then I will promptly lose 4 life. Yep. When life gives you lemons, try to make some extra life for yourself. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. They are getting pretty close to the City's Blessing. This Delver does nothing, basically. I do want to play out this land just for respect for the AeTherspark. This might deter one of their creatures from attacking. These don't have... Yeah, this is not good. We're going to take at least 5 here if Ajani doesn't flip. Yeah, I don't think it helps us to chump here. I'm going to just take it. They kept back Ajani. I'm not sure why they did. But they don't know what's in my hand. They don't know that I'm holding air, basically. Please play a red spell. Another... Oh, that's... Yeah, I mean, that does trigger the cat thing. Now I have to, read the backside of this card. None of which are good for me. They can Cataclysm, where they wipe my board. Create a white cat creature. Each opponent chooses... Okay. So they can do that next turn. So I have to flip my Delver, and I have to attack this Ajani just to keep it at parity, and then I'm taking 8, 9, I think, because there will be another one. Equal number of creatures. So thankfully they don't control any red permanents. Okay, so let's see. That was the City's Blessing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So I think the mana efficient thing, I'm gonna dare to dream. I'm just gonna blast this. I don't see how I survive. I'm not playing Teferi, Tamio would be great here. Yeah, good game. Okay, well, the streak is dead, but we're having fun. I mean, this is a rough matchup. And again, if you want to see me play this on stream or on the channel, please lend me some freaking Ajanis and Ocelots and I will be all over it. I love this deck. I love playing blue-white tempo. So here's what the AeTherspark looks like in Transformers. It is not exactly like... I saw something where it's this giant thing and they break it in half and it's extremely powerful. I can't remember, but I could have sworn that was Transformers. But yeah, maybe the AeTherspark is not the correct title for this. Okay, so we're up against a guy named Matt who has an extra A in their name. Unknown opponent. This seems like a pretty strong hand. I dare say this is like maybe like the best kind of hand we can get against an unknown opponent, because we have a Path to the Allspark, got Murktide potential late game. Murktide will be the pitch, because Allspark plus True Name equals probably GG in most matchups. Like yeah, it'll be devastating. They won't be able to interact, and we'll be drawing 2 cards a turn. Thoughtseize. Yep. This maybe Doomsday. Maybe this is Blue-Black Tempo. Maybe it's Blue-Black Control. Person after my own heart. They took the Pierce. Interesting. That may mean they have another Thoughtseize for next turn. Not paying any respect to my... well, I'm not going to respect the fact that they might have not Wasteland. And I will say Murktide is a better threat than True Name if they're on like just Storm or some sort of like combo deck. But True Name is just so strong because basically nobody's playing Dress Down or Plague Engineer. So it almost always hits really hard. You can't even stifle the ability. Like it just comes into play. Pretty powerful. Right, so we're going to Surveil here. I don't want to be drawing any more lands. I am still not sure what our opponent is on, but I would love... Oh, yeah, I think that's worth topping. Topping like pineapple on a pizza. They have seen this. I think that's valuable to withhold information and not show them that one of my draws was an island. So I'm just going to go and get a second Tundra. White, blue. See whether this resolves. They may fetch days if they think I'm playing Caldera, but what they don't know is I'm not playing Caldera. I'm playing something much more exciting. And if they daze this, it's okay. I will probably just try to go for the Merc next turn. Okay, Undercity Sewer. Are you going to daze with Undercity Sewer? That's negative tempo. Been at Wasteland, so they do have Wasteland. So they are a tempo deck. So they're blue-black tempo. Yeah. I'm not sure about the decision they're making here. They could just be freaking Reanimator. I think I'm going to get the Lion Sash. I want to Allspark, but I also don't want to die. I don't want to die. Have you ever played House of the Dead 2? It's got like the infamously bad voice acting, and it's like, don't let G... Or don't... What is the dialogue? Okay, yeah. I was right. Yeah, I don't want to die. Suffer like G did. That's the line. There's actually a band that liked that line so much they named their band Suffer Like G Did. Epic. Okay, Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm glad I got the read that they could be, because once this Lion Sash hits, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I am afraid of days here. I'm afraid of another Entomb, but if we get a turn, then we do have Lion Sash open. I mean, I certainly could have forced there, but you don't want to force into a potential daze. Troll Cycle, that's fine. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to interact with... Oh, yeah, they could do something right now. Okay, or they couldn't, or they can't. That's fine too. Show them the known land. And there's no reason to tap. I can just instep this because we're not going to be able to activate. I just don't want my force to get dazed. I'm okay with my force getting forced. And I can deal with the troll. When I say I can deal with the troll, my deck does have 2 Brazen Borrowers and 4 Plows. And I can, dig for those. So like this deck is like much more resilient to troll than a lot of decks. And in fact, we might even be able to outgrind an Atraxa. But we won't be able to beat Archon, I don't think. We're like 1 turn away from just dropping a gargantuan Murktide too. There's the waste. Just going to do that and see if they let it float. Looks like they're going to the next step. I am going to go ahead and Sash. I'm going to be Fearless. Now I'm dazable. They've got 2 cards in hand. Like I said, if they go for Reanimate on Troll, I'll attempt to force it, but like I'm not going to cry about it if I... Let's see, is there anything else we can do here? I think we do want to force this, and we just want to hope that they don't daze. If they daze, it's bad, but we can't race with Murktide. Well, that worked. Okay, so I feel extremely favored from here. I'm just going to attack for 2 and pass. I'm not going to do anything. I want to keep my options up. Next turn, after we've exiled the Troll, we can apply the Murktide. I mean, we could just apply the Murktide now. I'm just afraid that like their last card's Entomb, and then they, well, I don't know. This is probably cowardly. I don't think that, I think I could probably have done more than I did here. Murktide does speed up the clock. See, 1, 2, 3. It'd be like basically a 2-turn clock if I'd Murktided here. But they have one card, and they don't really have ways to pull ahead in cards. I've got that Transformer song, You Got the Touch. I got that stuck in my head right now. Baragorf. I mean, Murktide just trades cleanly with this. It's 5/6. We can just eat stuff out of the yard and make it smaller. So last card. I'm going to go ahead and start exiling stuff. They scoop. All right. Yeah, I think that was probably a premature scoop, but like they didn't know that we didn't have tons of awesome stuff in our hand. And we actually did. We had a brainstorm to find good stuff. And okay, so we can't actually Prismatic End anything. I think Prismatic End comes out. It's just a bad card against their deck. And then the other card that can come out, I think these are all actually really good. Like they actually took our Spell Pierce. It's hard to decide what to cut. We could cut a Wasteland, but I think we actually want it as a mana source because they do play Wasteland of their own, and I don't want to like run out of lands. It's quite possible the True Name never hits, and they don't have a lot of removal anyway. So I think that could be a cut. Let's sort by color. We have 29 blue cards. That's plenty. Let's rock it. Yeah, generally you don't want to bother wasting this deck. It's like totally fruitless. It is worth wasting Delver sometimes, but it's not worth wasting Reanimator pretty much ever. Unless you just have like a bunch of Dazes in your hand. But Daze itself is good because it helps you get through the initial turns. And then you can just brainstorm it away. Or, maybe, double Daze something. And it's possible that they juke into something like, but Nethergorf, or I didn't see any creatures that ending could have killed. They may have Douthie in their deck. Yeah, we'll just have to hope that they don't have Douthie, that they don't play Douthie. But I think it's fine to go down on Murktide or Nemesis. I think Murktide will be more impactful than Nemesis. Wow, what a hand. They have to give us a turn, but if they give us a turn, we can do a lot. We don't have a force in our hand. They could just Thoughtseize us. But we are going to go for the turn 1 cage. I don't think you ever not go for the turn 1 cage because they could just, Entomb, Reanimate, and you need to have cage. They may play up to 3 or even 4 Brazen Borrowers, so the game's not locked from there, but it does dramatically reduce the degenerate things they can do. All right, that's what we like to see. Don't daze me, bro. And you could argue that I could have held up Spell Pierce there. Yeah, they could both Entomb and Daze here, and that'd be pretty catastrophic. All right, we're in. That's huge. If they want to borrow, they have to, basically, it's a multi-turn line. Because they need 2 mana to borrow. And then after they borrow, they can put something in the yard. Or they can put something in the yard and then they can borrow. Which is one of the reasons that I think now Spellbomb's better than Cage in general. Yeah, that's fine. Because at least Spellbomb, you can fire it off. A lot of people who play this type of deck, if they're not playing Murktide, they'll play Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is very difficult to cap. It's 2 mana. It can get dazed. You might get wasted before you even get to that point. So here is my thinking. We have really good cards. I want to play this out. Don't want to get wasted. I want to pierce if they borrow. Bowmasters. So I am going to go ahead and respond to this with a brainstorm, and I'm going to put away my other brainstorm. I'm very glad that I didn't play out my Delver Secrets here. Okay, so I think we just put these away. I mean, I'm tempted to put away the Delver, but Delver might be good here. All these other cards are totally fine. None of them are embarrassing at all. But if we don't have a way to remove this, we don't want to be drawing cards. All right, and that is an argument for bringing 1 or more Prismatic Endings back in. But the good thing about Bowmaster is if you play carefully, you can play around it to a large extent. We could definitely die to this, but we've got lots of action. I think Stoneforge is most likely going to get Lion's Sash again. Yeah, we'll just start eating their graveyard. Another Bowmasters. I am very glad that I put those Brainstorms back. I think we Surveil here. We're going to take 3. Murktide will provide a very large wall. My kids just got home if you hear some very silly sounds. And now they're on the piano. That is a nice dodge. We definitely don't want more land at this point. All right, another Murktide. Not exactly what we're looking for. I think it's fine to just do this and make them think that we don't have a second white source, and maybe they prioritize wasting when we don't actually care about that. Right. So yeah, I do still think that Lion Sash is the get, because Lion Sash will be pretty big. Like if we level it up a couple times. The Allspark is good, but we can't draw the cards. So that basically just means that it like buffs our creatures, and that's it. Also, if they're able to just remove our Stoneforge, they can attack and kill the Allspark. All right. So, I mean, there's an argument for Cryptic Coat, but we don't actually have that much mana, and Lion Sash is an insurance policy against their unfair plan. So yeah, it's going to be Lion Sash. I don't think we play out the Delver. Actually, if we play out the Delver, I don't think they're going to attack with the Bowmasters into Stoneforge. I think it's better to hold up Spell Pierce just in case they... What could they do? I mean, they could have another Bowmaster, and that would definitely be a reason not to play out my Delver. Yeah, I think I'm just going to chill with this Spell Pierce up. I'll Spell Pierce basically anything here, just to make efficient use of my mana and hopefully disrupt them a little bit. And also to get something in the graveyard that I can use for mark later. It may be worth just going ahead and marking before I deploy the Lion Sash, because Murktide will probably almost completely blunt their aggression. I think I'm going to push this. If they force it, they are lost. Like that would be a crazy tempo play. I think they could daze it though. Okay, they're not. All right, they're just attacking. So Stoneforge is doing a great job here of deterring aggression. If we draw a fetch, then I will probably Merc. That's an unfortunate draw. A 5/5 flyer, not that bad. They could borrow it back to hand, but they're not borrowing my cage. I think we do it just to deter aggression. Yeah, because like, what do we lose to realistically? We lose to just, them hitting us a whole bunch. I think I'm also going to play with the Delver. If they force this, it's okay. We will rebuild. They're brainstorming in response. That's fine. Delver not only represents something that can jump or essentially trade with a Bowmaster, but it also represents us having an additional aggression plan. They may daze this. If they have a daze off that brainstorm, okay, it's in. Hopefully they don't just Bowmaster it. But either way it goes in my yard, it's not the worst. All right, and the Troll Cycling. Got Underground Sea, numeral 3. So now we are kind of in the danger zone where they could bounce and reanimate. I think I'm just going to take it slow though. Our long game is so much better than theirs. Even though we are a Delver deck, there's like a super tense tension between Delver. Like I figured Delver would be really good against combo decks, but we haven't really faced any combo. I think this is the closest thing we've faced to combo. And against like Storm or Oops or anything, like Delver is insane because it pitches the force, but it comes down and it's just like a 1 mana. You can hold up your Spell Pierces and stuff, and you can gradually chip away at them. Petty Theft, that's fine. And then they can attack for 2. Right, we're just going to take it. I'm so glad that they bounced that instead of that. Like I would be freaking out right now if they had bounced Delver. No. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but I think I'm going to go ahead and play out of the other Delver. And when they flip, they're going to flip hard. So now we have Lion Sash, and then we can also activate and eat something from the yard. They may play this out. Oh, they're not attacking at all. Well, that's great for me. And they may have another Stoneforge. They may have, or another Bowmaster. They may have just saved it. I'm fine if they hit this, actually. I'd rather them hit this than one of these. Is that true? No, that's not true. I think I'm just going to hold off for a turn cycle, and then I can use these. Because as long as they hold off, if they... Okay, they're playing that out. That's fine. Now that they're tapped, I'm just going to buff a troll, and next turn we'll hit the other troll, and then they will no longer have anything in their graveyard. Come on, Delvers! Oh! Okay, so they don't flip, unfortunately. We'll play it, and yeah. Do we want to go ahead and put this onto something? I think it's fine to put it on the Stoneforge Mystic. That way we don't have to worry about it getting pushed. And we can just eat something in response to them doing something here. But we are going to take 3 in the air, unfortunately. But once these flip, like they'll easily, you know, give this a borrower grief and not in the band kind. They've got 5 cards in their hand. They're looking at 7 over there right now. I have to imagine Barragoyf is in our future. But we can totally manage Barragoyf. Or Barry, as I like to call him. Troll Cycle. So they were able to get a perfect brainstorm there. Another Underground Sea. If they have a Bowmasters, they can definitely take the choice of Delver to pick off. I still think, like, even if we flip these Delvers, we stay on the defensive. Because I'm really worried about dying. Okay, that's fine. Fatal pushing. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and hit their one of their trolls. Yeah, that, like, reconfiguring basically caused them to have to use double fatal push there, which I'm very happy about. Oh, they're crazy. Okay, well, yeah, this is pretty easy. So I'm going to block both of the Bowmasters, which I think this is a huge mistake. You don't let your opponent get out from under Bowmasters, in my opinion. So we're going to take 5 here, but we're going to be able to brainstorm and do who knows what. Now it flips. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start with the brainstorm. I'm looking for, I mean, plow is fine. Just plowing this out of the way is totally legit. I'm going to shuffle away the second Murktide. I think it's too slow. I think Spell Pierce is too slow. We've already shown it to them. Play this out. Let's see. Our graveyard only has 1 instant or sorcery. I still think that's okay. Again, like I feel like we're favored as the game goes on. And now we can withhold information about what we're capable of. They have a Brazen Borrower. We can still, you know, potentially get that out of the way. I think we chill. I know this is cowardly, but we're at 5 life. And we're going to go to 4 off this. They may have had another Bowmaster in hand. Maybe that was why they were okay with doing what they did. I am kind of worried, actually, the way I did this, that they could Bowmaster and ping after combat. I think that's fine. Yeah. I'm not going to try to brainstorm into force. I'll just block. I'll probably block the Orc Army and just plow the Borrower. Then we're down to nothing, but we have filled up our yard. Yeah, I don't want to take this damage. I should have blocked before I did that, by the way. They're going to have another one next turn. But we can potentially redeploy our Merc. They have 1 card in hand. Fetching. Are they just going to deploy it now? Because that gives me a window to brainstorm into days. Oh, we could hit days ourselves. I'm going to wait a turn. Okay, so let's think about this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have more than enough to deploy a Murktide, and it will be big enough. I'm going to wait and get a shuffle off the brainstorm. Spell Pierce, not a great card. Let's change it up a little bit. Okay, I feel a lot safer now. So we're going to put this back. I don't want the second Merc. So let's see. Yeah, I'll fetch. Fetch those away. Blue, blue. Colorless. All right. Now I don't want to have to use Plow this turn cycle. That's fine. That's a horrible rip. Basically a dead card. I definitely want to use the Plow on like a Barragoyf or something rather than this Borrower. Put a Trax in the yard. Draw for turn. If it's like a third Borrower, that's good. So the best draw in my deck is probably Stoneforge Mystic, so that I can just go get Cryptic Coat, and I think I could just win gradually that way. Brazen Borrower is okay. I think I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to do anything here. And I don't want to deploy this Brazen Borrower because it easily dies to Bowmaster. I need to keep my life total a little high just out of respect for end-step Bowmaster. If they waste me, that actually feeds the second Merc, and I have 2 more in 37 cards. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about this. I can just Plow. Yeah, I'm just going to let that happen. They don't have anything to do here, but I don't want to take the damage, so I'm going to Plow. And now I have to redeploy before I deal with this. So they can just deploy it now. And I could realistically lose to it. Them wasting me doesn't change the cost of Murktide. Brainstorm, please. Something good. So I can't do anything about that. I can bounce it out of the way and then just trade. They could have Hardcast Force here, so I do need to go ahead and bounce now. And I'm just going to play it now. And I am aware that this is opening me up. No, wait. Oh, no. I bounced their Borrower, so they could bounce this and they could reanimate. So I do need to keep cards up. I'll cast it later. And they will almost certainly bounce the cage back. There's no harm in doing that before they cast. If they waste me, that's actually good because it turns on, it makes days a little more viable. Ponder is fine. It's a good card. I wish I could draw a Ponder. How many cancers have I seen? I saw the Brainstorms. Yeah, just the 3 Brainstorms, which I had to kind of like inconveniently cast. So their Bowmasters have been doing some serious work this game. Double Wasteland, so they can get me pretty low on lands if they want to. So we know their hand is Borrower. I'm going to go ahead and play it out and see if they want to start borrowing stuff. They can borrow and they can cast if they want to. I will give them that option, but I know they don't have days in their hand. Their clock is pretty low. They have to win another game after this. Their deck is certainly capable of doing that. Okay, I think that's a questionable play because now I've got a blocker and I can easily redeploy that cage. It costs me a lot less to redeploy the cage. So I'm going to force Bowmaster for sure. They have a lot of dead draws now, like cards like Entomb. This is an easy trade. Land for turn. Okay. I think they've drawn all of those. Have they not used their Surveillant? We're actually able to just hardcast a Merc here, and I think I will. I'm going to go fetch the island. That way I can at least keep something up, like a Daze Protection. Doesn't really matter. Now let's just get our Merc out. I mean, I might as well just go all in. So I'm just going to exile this Swords, and then we have enough. It'll come in as a 4/4, which will stand up to a Brazen Borrower if they cast it out of hand, but if they draw another Brazen Borrower, they will be able to do something else. This is not going to kill them anytime soon. We're dead to Bowmaster ping plus double attack. They banned a Delta. Yeah, they're getting pretty flooded. Where are the reanimates? Did they take the reanimates out? Like, you would take the attracts out. I haven't seen a single reanimation affect this game. Troll. That is a force. We will pitch Spell Pierce here. Yeah, and I forgot about that. That's another thing we have to worry about. I think they only have one left in their deck, but they... No, wait. That's the last one. And they're opting not to fire off these Wastelands. All right, Stifle might actually be useful here. Remains to be seen. We're just going to start attacking and passing. I can stifle the Bowmaster ping plus Amass. That seems like a pretty good play. Drew land for turn. Wow, I didn't expect us to be like this. I mean, they haven't drawn any of their so the cards that they're likely to draw are terrible cards. And they aren't wasting me, which means like I have Hardcast Force up, which is nice. So I think the quality of cards they're going to draw is going to be so low, and I'd be surprised if they have a third Brazen Borrower. Like, they probably drew a card that's dud now. Oh, never mind. I am going to counter this just to get a couple extra cracks. They should have fired off those Wastelands so long ago. There's no more land in my deck to fetch, unfortunately. So I'm just going to hold this. Maybe they hit me or something. Who knows? Okay, now they're wasting. I will add a blue here just to worry them. Maybe they're about to cast something that they don't want me to hard cast Force on, and maybe I can buy a combat step or something here by pretending that I can counter it. This is the Bowmaster. Their own Merc. Well, that is not good. I think we're dead now, unless we can find one of our many cards that are in our deck that we probably won't draw. We get a second draw step. Okay, that's great. The art, Aetherspark. So we put the Aetherspark on here, and then we have to block, but it gives us a bunch of counters. So this is like draw 2, but we have to draw these cards, which we don't want to draw. We could fetch. Oh wait, we do have a planes we could fetch, but that drops us to 1. It's risky. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to do the Aetherspark thing. I think it's better than just drawing wild. We are putting ourselves to dead to Bowmaster though, actually. How many Bowmasters they have left in their deck? I think they still probably have at least 2. Yeah, I think this was probably a mistake. Let's see. Just comment during your turn. we're not going to get any +1 counters, but we are going to be able to sacrifice it. Yeah, that's pretty weak, huh? So was it worth putting ourselves dead to Bowmasters when we could have just shuffled and potentially found a plow? No, that was a punt. A ponder or a brainstorm, yeah. Like they've gotten so many cantrips. Like, where are their dead cards? Where are the dead cards they're supposed to be drawing? Yeah, if they have Bowmasters, there's nothing we can do because we put ourselves at dead. I thought I was being clever. No, I should have just shuffled that. They're doing 2 damage to themselves. I mean, we did increase the cognitive load. Now they have to like know what this card does and what it's capable of and think about it and stuff before they didn't need to. So we have a Brazen Borrower and we have 1, 2. So we have 3 answers left in 27 cards. And we're about to draw 2. And we have a lot of cantrips in there. Got a whirly bird overhead. All right. What do we draw? Wasteland. Let's just draw. Okay, so let's think about this. So Stoneforge doesn't save us. We need to ponder into one of those solutions. And even if we do, there's the borrower. But these cards are atrocious. Oh, we can shuffle them. We can shuffle them. We have mana to do everything. So I'm going to do this, this. I'm not going to shuffle. I'm going to play this out. My opponent is tapped out. I can go ahead and I'm not interested in hitting their mana. I'm just going to Stoneforge here. We're going to go get our Cryptic Coat. We might as well just wait until attack step. No, they could have Hardcast Force. I need to go ahead and borrow this now. And then next turn, we can potentially try to cast the wrong one. That would be embarrassing if I just played it out and had to jump. No, I'll get an extra turn. Cryptic Coat is not good enough to kill them. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's another big thing that we have to deal with, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't do anything, but it is a lifelink creature. This is eating their clock. That's like the dream is like, yeah, Cage stops it. And now they can Merc, and it'll be huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until they attack, and then I can put in the coat after I block, because the coat is more important. If we draw a plow, we can deal with this through double blocking. No, we can't. We didn't draw a plow. I'm just going to play quickly here. Oh, we could have Cryptic and then bounced, but we couldn't have made another one. Next turn, we might be able to multi-coat, if that's a word. But I don't think it's going to save us. I'm basically playing to them running out of clock, because this is game 2, right? They didn't win. Okay. So we were just like, Batman, why can't I kill you? Cryptic Coat comes in. Oh, it doesn't do anything because of Grab Trigger's Cage. That was dumb. Yeah, that was a waste of a card. Oh, so we are dead. There's nothing we could draw that could deal with both of these. Yeah, good game. I will make them kill me since they're so low in time. Okay, we're low in time too. We have like 6 minutes, so maybe I shouldn't have even done that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't notice that we were getting low in time too. All right. So we are a tempo deck. We can tempo them. Let's have some faith. I don't think Prismatic Ending is great. I still don't think it's great. Like, it didn't hit anything but the Bowmasters. True Name blocks indefinitely, but a lot of their creatures can't be blocked on the ground. I don't think True Name comes in. I think we keep the deck configuration exactly as it is. Yeah, I should have probably conceded that game a long time ago. It's just hard to know when to concede. Because like toward that last 10 minutes of the game, I was definitely using more clock than they were. And again, they have, Swamp, Entomb, Reanimate, Win. So we don't have anything nearly that explosive. Right. Let's be quick. We got less than 6 minutes. This is a great hand on the play. I'm going to keep this. We are going to open Misty. I'm going to plan to... Oh, they're mulling at 5. They're being very aggressive here. Hopefully Daze can do something here. Okay. So we want to be mindful of Bowmasters and probably work through our brainstorms rather quickly. We also want to be mindful of Daze and not cast Stoneforge until the following turn, like when we have 3 mana. That's fine. I think in situations like this, I am going to go ahead and get Surveil. I don't know that they would hold on to Wastelands, given they mold so deeply. They chose not to shuffle. Let's go ahead and Surveil. And not only are you surveilling, but you're ensuring that you don't draw this card later, because it's a terrible top deck. That is going to stay right there. When my opponent is low on time, I think it's a priority just stopping things that they can do. I think it's worth brainstorming here just to get it out of the way. All right, these are great cards. I actually really like Stifle here. I'm tempted to... I think Stoneforge is going to be a good play. I think Delver is less interesting right now. Maybe we do get rid of Force. I want to put Borrower on top. And if we get a chance to Stifle, we will Stifle. I'm going to attempt to Stifle this, and I can daze it if necessary. Stick them on one land. That feels good. Okay, that worked. They do have a second land. They're fetching. They could have the Reanimate. Well, if they're looking to win the game quickly, they are certainly doing what you're supposed to do in those situations. 3 cards in hand. Do they have a daze? No. Okay, good. So I think now that we don't think they have a daze, we do go ahead and go for Stoneforge. I'm going to grab the Allspark here. We're low on time, but I think it's the most powerful thing we can do. They've got 2 minutes to string together a win. Putting Troll into play would that's fine. I'm going to let that happen. It's more important that I stop the things that they can do than that I do things. I think I'm just going to play a land and pass. Because if they try to be proactive with Bowmasters, then I can Brainstorm. Okay, Brainstorming is fine. They're going to get a perfect Brainstorm and a Shuffle. We are not going to stop a Troll this time. So what happened was I didn't know Brazen Borrower was on the top. I actually shuffled and just got lucky and drew it again. So I did have to be in a situation where I probably would have forced the Reanimate, but now I don't have to. Brazen Borrower is such a good card. It's so much better than Prismatic Ending. 1 minute, 21 seconds on the clock over there. If we get into an F6 fight, I'll be way ahead, but I hope it doesn't come to that. It's fine. I'm going to let them do it. Right. End step. Let's go ahead and just get it out of there. This does give them another search. Can I get my Aetherspark into play? Delver is better than getting Aetherspark into play. I'm going to do so. Holding up Brainstorm, Force. I can play this out, end step if I need to. If they have Bowmaster, I will force that. This is kind of a blowout if they do. Yep, so that is getting forced. All right, they have 2 cards in hand over there. They could draw a Daze, which would deal with this. Troll cycling again. Underground Sea. Played. Animate Dead. I can't do anything about that. End step, I will go ahead and play this out. I'm going to hope to tempo them. I am higher life than them. And if my Delver flips, we can potentially tempo. Yes. Right. I'm going to Allspark. They have a Daze. They have a Daze. Put it on this one, which is slightly tougher. Let's go to combat. They're on a 2-turn clock with 40 seconds on their clock. And I have a Ponder, which may not be good if they have Bowmaster. I probably actually should have put it on this because that way they wouldn't be able to Bowmaster this. If they Bowmaster this, they can potentially race. It's unlikely, but it was the optimal play to put it on Borrower. So I need to note that heuristic. In the future, just put this on Brazen Borrower, given the choice between the two. It's fine. Allspark falls off. They can attack it. Bouncing it back to hand. They can come in for 5. All right, I'm just going to redeploy the Allspark. I will play this out. I will go ahead and Ponder just to see if we find like a Plow or something. I mean, these are great cards. I could just borrow that back to hand. I think that's fine. And that ends their ambitions of winning, I think. Yep, good game. Wow, that was intense. So we are 3-1 going into the final round. Final round, we're up against a likely Dredge player. Unique username 3, best username on MTGO. They are probably playing this. They were playing like a few days ago. Yeah, this is a bad matchup. Dredge does not operate on like a dimension that most decks are used to dealing with. We don't have any Silver Bullets main deck. We have the 3. Actually, I think it's just 2. Oh yeah. Well, actually, we have. I mean, these Wastelands might pull some weight. I'm thinking about it. Ending is a dead card. It's terrible against their deck. I think this is a mulligan. So we have Lion Sash. That's the card that does anything to the graveyard here. It sucks that I'm throwing away this perfectly serviceable hand, but I'm pretty sure they're on Dredge. They've played Dredge a lot for like several months, like 6 months. Okay. This hand also sucks, kind of, but it's not as bad. I think Wasteland might be important here. Plow is terrible. I'm going to put back Plow. And we're just going to start by firing off the Misty for an Underground Sea and or for a Tundra, and we are going to ponder trying to find a force. We'll pitch True Name to the force. True Name is not particularly good here. We need to find a force, though. Like, they probably have 2 pieces of interaction, or 2 enablers in their hand. Okay, there's a force. I'm not wild about the other cards. I think the island is going to get milled. So what we'll do is we'll put the Wasteland on bottom. Then, oh no, I screwed up. I wanted to put that 2 down because I'm going to draw the force now. Yeah, I mean, I might want that Wasteland. Actually, I'm probably going to waste next turn, so it doesn't really matter. I'll probably have 2 back-to-back Wasteland turns. And then if they run out of lands, that's great for us. You always force anything they give you the option to force. And now the LED. No LED. That's great for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and just waste this. And we will hope springs eternal that they don't have another enabler or another land or one of those 2 things. But they play quite a few lands. Let's see how many lands are they playing. I think it's enough. It's like 14. Actually, damn, how do they even function with 14? It seems like they always have a second land. This is definitely something we want to force if we can. I know we have a Wasteland on top. I'm going to just look. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to be able to do is put away Meticulous Archive, which is terrible. I guess we'll draw the island, which is not as terrible. Then we can Scalding Tarn next turn. Well, we're probably going to waste this first. So the good news is they don't have any. Oh, so many dredgers. Yeah, this game is over. They even have Loam. Crazy that they're playing Loam. So I think what we do is we ponder. I want to ponder before I do anything. I need to shuffle. See, they have. Are they going to use this mana for anything? If they have another land, they can Otherworldly Gaze flashback. They could Loam, and then, but they would need to find a land. So the scary thing is this Golgari Grave Troll, and I would definitely hit that. It's not like it would stop what they're doing. They also have a Stinkweed Imp. Yeah, but we are definitely casting the Ponder. I guess the question is, we know one of the cards is bad. Do we want to shuffle first and just not bother with the land? And I think we don't bother with land at this point. Not even sure what I'm looking for, frankly. Really just the only thing that is going to help us is Lion Session will be way too late. I'll get a Tundra just in case I find another cantrip. So that is a path to getting it out. And if like somehow they have like the world's slowest dredge, that's not the worst. Yeah. And then we can shuffle away that land. Yeah, this is disastrous though. But I mean, it's just like a nightmare of a matchup. Did they forget to freaking dredge, or what are they doing? That's crazy to me. Why wouldn't you dredge there? I guess, yeah, they know something I don't. I'm going to go ahead and try this. My daughter wanted to show me something really weird. Okay. It's like a ball filled with other like tapioca kind of like style balls. Okay, so we're going to get the Lion Sash. I mean, I don't think we're going to do anything with it, but our opponent's on notice that we do have the ability to do stuff. They dredge. They don't hit anything. Holy cow, we're going to get a turn? All right. Now we have to think about what we're going to hit. There's no point in trying to like play this out. I'm actually going to swing for damage here. Okay, now we have to put on our thinking caps. We've been given a huge gift. So options. They have 2 bridges. We start hitting those, and that is good. They have 2 therapies, so hitting therapy isn't going to work. I think we have to hit their dredger. They only have 1 dredger currently. They have Loam, which is a bad dredger. Yeah, I'm going to hit the Stinkweed Imp. And if they Loam into exactly Narcomoeba, then they're in pretty good shape. And when I say Loam, oh, they just drew a card? Oh, wait, they milled. Okay, they milled a Stinkweed Imp. So we have to hit the Stinkweed Imp now. So we can just kind of manage their dredgers while hitting them. All right, I'm going to start by pondering, because if I can find another white source, that's good. I think these are shuffle. We're looking for white sources. Yeah, there we go. Now, we need to hit that. hit the Stinkweed Imp. But now I also want to hit Poxwalkers. They have 3 Poxwalkers. If we hit the Therapy, they can't flash stuff back. I think it's... Yeah, they don't have any Dredgers because they dredged their Loam. So I think we hit Therapies here. And maybe I'm missing something. I mean, this deck is pretty hard to play against. And I did forego damage by targeting those rather than targeting the actual Poxwalkers. But next turn, I'm going to target the Poxwalkers. They just draw. Okay, so now we start hitting Poxwalkers. I think we can actually hit Narcomoeba if it goes on the stack. But it doesn't matter because they can't flash anything back, I don't think, right now. Wow, this isn't the luckiest Dredge game. Yeah, and I'm not going to bother playing anything else. I'm just going to manage their graveyard. And one more swing and they're dead. Winning game 1 against Dredge is extremely uncommon. It's like they win like 70 or 80%. I'm just going to go ahead and swing and see if they want to do anything before combat. Okay. Wow. And clock does matter. Like I'm already at 17 minutes because I have to think really hard. Okay, so Cage comes in. When we bring Cage in, I think we take out Cryptic Coat. Harbinger is not terrible here. Oh, Force Negation. Consign can stop a Dredge trigger. We're taking all our plows out. You may think like, oh, but aren't there situations where you need to plow something out of the way? Yes. Sometimes it comes up, but it's like there's so many better things we could be doing. I think Harbinger, like just locking them on blue and preventing them from being able to use their the other card, whatever the card is called, it's pretty good. I think Consign. Oh wait, they have red in their deck. They don't have a ton. They do have Shenanigans, but I think we just live with Shenanigans. I mean, Shenanigans kills all our artifacts. What are the chances we're going to be able to Hydro them several turns in a row if they are able to cast Shenanigans? I think we just have to exile it somehow. I think Stifle could be potentially really good. Like Spell Pierce is potentially really good. It's between Consign and Hydroblast. Yeah, I think Consign's better because we could Consign an Narcomoeba in a total pinch. Okay, what other cards are we going to take out? I'm going to take out... They're not going to go after our mana at all, so we could take out a land. I would take out the Plains, but there might be a situation where we need it. Maybe I don't want to bring in the Harbingers. Maybe that is a mistake. And if we don't bring in the Harbingers, we can take out the Plains. And we can bring in the rest of the Consigns, which I think are pretty good against them. We can't bring them all in, can we? Okay, 2 Consigns. This is a snap keep, but I always like to think, yeah, we have a path to Lion Sash. We have Grafdigger's Cage. We have Force Negation, which is very important against their deck because a lot of their key enablers have flashback. So we will be pitching a Force on their first spell, or rather pitching a Brainstorm here. Yeah, you just always stop any enabler you can. And then we waste first, I think. Okay, that's a good rip because that enables us to play Mystic. I guess the question is, do we want to go ahead and just cage now? I am not sure. If you know what I should be doing here, if you're very confident, if you're like a Dredge pilot, please leave a comment with a timestamp and tell me whether I'm supposed to cage here or waste this Mana Source first. My instinct is to waste the Mana Source. They have not very many lands in their deck. They always seem to have a second one, but could this be like that rare time where they don't have a second Mana Source? I mean, they have like 14 lands in their deck. How is it that they always have more than one land? I swear, like, I don't know that I've ever successfully... I guess last turn, technically, we wasted them twice, and then they didn't have more lands. Yeah, they had a land. Okay, well, that sucks. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go for the cage here. And if they have Shenanigans, they have Shenanigans, and that'll suck. Then what I can do is I can Mystic Sanctuary for the Lion, and hopefully I can put the Lion in and eat the Shenanigans before they can dredge it back to their hand. But Shenanigans... Lion is also an artifact and will die to Shenanigans as well. And our opponent is an extremely seasoned Dredge player. Like, we're not going to get anything past them. We're going to either get lucky or we're going to, get slaughtered, basically. And you can't know how to play Dredge exactly. I think it's such a complicated deck that is so different from any other type of deck out there that you have to really spend a lot of time becoming a good Dredge pilot to really understand how to play against Dredge, would be my theory on that. Because I feel like maybe I'm 50-50 against Dredge, but it certainly feels like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just getting lucky a lot of times when I win. They did not have a third land. That is good for us. So we have two options. One, we could brainstorm and set up a flip Delver, or we could just Stoneforge. I like Stoneforge. And we are absolutely going to get the Lion Sash here. And that is why I have it main deck. So we have something that we can do against Screw. Like, I was really vacillating as to whether to include this. And I think we're vindicated in our decision to include it. They're up to 6. Once they get to 7, they can start discarding to hand size. Or once they get to 8. They have LED. That sucks. All right. No shenanigans. Gosh, if I just do it. If I just LED. I think it is worth doing this now while they don't have the ability to like flash anything back. I just don't want to play this out into a possible shenanigans. And now I'm going to deploy a Delver. And I'll attack for 1. Let's get our clock going. As piddly as it is. Man, this has been a great league. I'm so excited about the AETHERSPARK. I'm going to definitely be playing that in various shells. I think it's so much more fun to play than Caldera, even though, you know, maybe I would have won more games with Caldera. It's hard to know. So this is an opportunity for me to brainstorm and guarantee this flips. And I think we do want to do this. We want time on our side here. Okay. So we can reveal a Ponder. I think it's fine. I don't need this at all. It accomplishes basically nothing. I mean, it technically gets the AETHERSPARK, but it's not what we needed to do here. So now I think we just attack, and then I'm going to Ponder to shuffle. And what are we looking for? We're looking for Wasteland. So I will keep if I find a Wasteland. I don't think Stifle's good enough. Not when I'm tapped out anyway. Borrower's fine, but it's not exactly what we need. Murktide will end this game very quickly. And Murktide may end it so quickly that even if they kill our cage, we can still get out from under it. Wasteland is just what the doctor ordered. Let's do it. All right, and now you are about to see the full Wrath tempo. Blue, blue. I mean, this deck has legs. Like, we're about to 4-1, which is exceptional. Like, it's very hard to 4-1, especially with the brew. I mean, this is like a total brew. Yeah, they're going to be able to discard, but it's far too late. They're dead on board. Yeah. 4-1. We did it with the brew. Let's take a look at this beautiful brew. The AETHERSPARK, exceptional. I don't think there's anything I'd really change about this deck. Like, I do kind of miss Caldera because it is nice to get it, but it seems like it always just gets borrowed out of play or, yeah. True Name never made an appearance. I don't think we ever got him on the table. We never got to name our opponent. I always love it. Like when I cast it, I'm like, I choose you. True Name Nemesis, go. I choose you, opponent. You are my nemesis. I love doing that. And we didn't get to do that, but I do think it's good. Like, you could argue that Crypticoat is just like better. I mean, like, you can fetch it and you can also, you know, do Army in a Can type stuff. This could be very much a dated card. I did spend a couple tickets and got like the nice retro border one. I think maybe I'll run this back and try it again. I'd love your feedback on the list. We stifled like once or twice, and there are 2 of them. It's just not showing it for some reason. But there are 2 of them. I think the 2 stifle, 2 spell pierce split is great. By not going into red, of course, we make our prismatic endings less impactful, which didn't come out at all during the league. But by playing cards like Brazen Borrower, which was absolutely clutch in the Reanimator matchup, like, we almost survived. We didn't like necessarily almost survive, but we survived for a long, long time on the back of Brazen Borrower being able to bounce our opponent's threats out of the way game 2, and then we were able to rally game 3. So I think like the threat suite of Brazen Borrower, Murktide, and Crypticoat, and then like I would like to see a version without Delver. In fact, I am going to build a Delverless version real quick just to show you what it would look like. All right, so here's what I would play. If I felt comfortable playing a more controlling build with, I'd go down the 2 days, I'd keep the 4 Wastelands, and I would add red. And the reason I'd add red is because it does allow for prismatic endings that are larger, and we could just change our fetches around to where we have Scalding Tarn, and we could potentially go get Mountain if we need to. And we can just keep the 20th land, which would be Mountain, in the sideboard. Our initial blue resources count would be the exact same. We still have 14 initial blue, which is what I like to always have in my tempo decks. But there's less of an emphasis on days. Pokemoki, again, often plays 2 in Bug Beans, and he is playing a lot of Wasteland. And Wasteland is just generically useful, like it was very useful in Dredge there. I think there was a match where our opponent had Gosh, what was the card that was a total chore for us? Zenith, and we were able to waste that out of the way. I like the idea of True Name Nemesis in a longer game. True Name Nemesis is almost kind of like a planeswalker, like that says, do 3 damage to target planeswalker or player every turn. And you could argue that it should be a Murktide instead, but I think it's fine to like diversify our threat suite a little bit. We're not really using our graveyard for anything other than Murktide, but it is a bummer when you draw like 2 Murktides or in a game. So yeah, you could go up to 3, I guess, and then you could get rid of True Name. That is more in keeping with like the tempo-y nature. Like True Name has just not aged that well as a card, and Murktide is going to get you like crazy value off your Allspark. I hate to make that change, but I think I do. Like this doesn't defend against stuff in the air. Like this is so much better against Delver, and it's so much better against like a lot of blue-black tempo. And blue-black Reanimator are playing Murktide now. The best answer to a Murktide is a larger Murktide if you don't have a borrower, which we have. So I went down to 1 borrower here. So our total creature count is only 13, but I did add 4 Tamio. So you might be wondering why such a low creature count. Well, if you're playing Narset, you do want to have not that many non-creature spells or creature spells in your deck because you want to maximize the likelihood. And currently we have 28, and I'm going to show you the probability of whiffing on Narset with 28 creatures. So with 28 non-creature spells, you're going to get a card 92% of the time that you dig for 1. And I don't know that it's worth going down. I mean, like in theory, we could remove a Murktide, just remove it and then have even fewer win cons. I mean, we do have a lot of good win cons here. Like we could add Calder back in. That is totally reasonable in my humble opinion to add Caldera back in because we're adding Teferi, and Teferi is very good with Caldera because we can bounce back to hand. So let's add Caldera complete here. And yeah, so with Caldera complete in there now, we're up to 29. And let's take a look here. We go up to 29, and suddenly I think it's like close to like 94%. But this does come up. Yeah, it's almost 94%. A lot of Jeskai control decks will literally just play Tamio as their only creature to maximize the likelihood. Because whiffing with Narset is absolutely soul crushing because you just paid 3 mana. You put this thing into play that's about to die to a Bowmasters, and you get nothing in return. That's always devastating. So you want to minimize that. And at least this way, we're getting like something out of like only 1 out of 11 will whiff. So not that bad. So we do have Lion Sash, which is a creature technically, but it is a creature we can fetch. Like the general rule with equipment is you want to make sure there's a creature attached. So if you don't have anything on the table, you can still do stuff. Aetherspark, unfortunately, doesn't do anything if you don't have a creature, but it's so powerful. I mean, we saw it draw tons of cards and do lots of like value things that I'm addicted to as a value gamer. So I do think that it's and of course, like let's say hypothetically, you are able to Stoneforge into and the other card that we could definitely put into the sideboard would be Pre-War. And I think Pre-War is worthy of putting in the sideboard because people are going to kill your Tamio. Like whether they're blasting it or doing something like that, it is going to die. And it feels so good to get a Tamio out of your yard with Pre-War. So we need to make a couple cuts to our... I think probably going down to 1 Harbinger is okay considering that we are a 3-color deck and it'll be pretty hard to assemble these. I'm not going to go any lower on Grafdigger's Cage. I do think 3 Pyros is great. Like if you're up against Delver and you can fetch a mountain and you can start pyroing their stuff, it's really strong. Similarly, if you're in like a control mirror, like this is the best card against Jeskai other than like Bowmasters itself. And then I think the other card we could go down is Force Negation, but it is dangerous because we don't have a whole lot of dazes. We do have Spell Pierce. So maybe, yeah, we could cut that and boom, we got our nice spread of cards in the sideboard. You'll note that we're playing 1 Volcanic Island. It's not showing that we're playing 1 because of the MTGO glitch, but we are playing 1 Volk. And I think that is fine. Instead of having the second basic island, we still have tons of white, which we need. We need 5 white sources because we saw that game, how powerful Lion Sash. Don't sleep on this card. This card has saved me so many times. Going 2-0 against Dredge is phenomenal. Lion Sash was absolutely instrumental in enabling us to do that. And also, Wasteland was pretty damn good in both of those games against Dredge. So take that, control players that don't play Wasteland. You should play Wasteland. All right. So you're going to see a lot of people probably in the comment section saying like, no, this is not how you play Jeskai. Stoneforge. You play tons of basics, but like I will reject that with every fiber of my being. I don't think it's correct to play like more than like 3 or 4 basics in Legacy, unless if you're playing a 3-color card deck. If you're playing Stoneforge, or if you're playing like black white taxes or something like that, sure, you can play 6 or 8 or 10 basics. Or if you're playing mono red, sure, play like 6 or 8 mountains or something like that. But I think when you're playing 3 colors, you really do need to have duels. And I know it's an inconvenient because duels are expensive. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a reserve list card. It's probably never going to be reprinted. I would encourage you to buy them and never sell them. I sold my collection many times, and I regretted it, of course. But one thing I did not sell was my FBB Foreign Black Border dual lands that I acquired in like 2010. I got like most of the ones that I still play today, and I never regret not selling them, and I will probably never sell them. I'll probably literally will them to my kids, because if you want to play Legacy, I think that these are table stakes. You have to just bite the bullet and invest in getting these. But if you want to play a budget deck, I will tell you that you could play this with just 1 Tundra and 1 Volk. Or you could even play just 1 Tundra and then use Meticulous Archive and just do a 2-color deck. But I would encourage you to consider saving up and gradually buying. And instead of buying like, fancy foil foreign language versions of like ADH staples and stuff like that they're going to totally reprint, invest in the reserve list and cards that are like legally never going to be reprinted again by Wizards. Like, I think it's extremely unlikely that they ever break and I would be fine. I think the value of my collection would crater, but it would allow more people to play Legacy. But the fact of the matter is, like, you can borrow cards. I've got lots of friends who don't even play that still hang on to their duels, and I guess if I really needed to, I could go borrow duels from them and stuff for a tournament. It is always going to be kind of a pain because you're like carrying these duels on the plane, and you're like, what if somebody steals my stuff, right? What if I get mugged and some random street thug takes my deck and has no idea what it's worth and just throws it in the trash, right? And those dual lands are lost forever, right? Like, yeah, it sucks, but that's just par for the course. So I think that this list is what I'm going to play in the next league. I am going to continue my explorations of Aetherspark. I like getting some more Planeswalkers in the mix. Narset is a good substitute for Bowmasters. We love Bowmasters in this channel, but like when we're not playing black, we can't rep the Bowmasters. And I do think that you want bigger creatures like Murktide if you're playing with the Aetherspark, right? So because the more damage you do, the more loyalty you get on this. And I am very excited about the prospect of -10, exile 10 permanents from your graveyard and put Lion Sash onto one of my creatures that has evasion and swing in and kill you. I'm very excited about that prospect of being able to use the minus ability in addition to the smaller minus ability, which is insane on its own. Like, this card is cracked and it's fun above all else. Like, I hope Wizards prints more fun playable Legacy cards. I don't think this is broken. I don't think this is the One Ring. I won't go off on a tirade about the One Ring this late into the video, but like, I think this is a fun card that you only need one of. First of all, you don't need to get like 4 One Rings and spend like $400 or whatever on One Rings. Like, I'm sorry, get a dual land. don't get 4 One Rings. Wizards will eventually reprint them in the value of a crater. But it's just not that fun of a card. Like, yeah, this is a great fun of one of. I plan to get mine in paper. I'll probably order it before I even publish this, just in case it moves the price. I don't think it will, but I don't want to think too much of myself. But Legacy is probably not what this is like focused on. But this is like the second chase rare. The first one is I can't pronounce the name, but it's this awesome black-white card that'll probably be like $200 for a playset if you want to play it in black-white taxes and Legacy. But it'll probably be worth it. I've heard great things about it. So yeah, keep jamming these. Awesome brews. Keep exploring. The meta is not solved. You can 4-1. And we were very close to 5-0ing if we'd been able to prevail in that one match against blue-white tempo, and every single round we were playing different decks, which is great. It was a really, really fun dynamic league. And that's what I'm all about. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.